Hi everyone and welcome. This is my review of Kevin Smith's Yoga Hosers, the follow-up slash sequel to 2004's Tusk, where we get to go back to Canada for the second time. And I think we're going back to Canada for a third time in a few years with Moose Jaws. But this one's much different than Tusk, where Tusk was a horror film, it was a comedy, it was disturbing, it was sick and twisted. Yoga Hosers is a PG-13 movie that he says is for kids, more for teenagers if they're ever getting a chance to see it, because it didn't get really a good release, sadly. Or is that a good thing that it didn't get a good release? Because here is my thoughts on the movie. But before I start with my thoughts on the film, I do want to mention that I love Kevin Smith. I love him as a filmmaker. I love him as a personality. I love his sense of humor. I love that he connects with his fans. I feel like he's a director that would be an awesome opportunity to meet with and talk with and share our love of cinema together and talk about the crazy and fun and exciting movies he's made over the last 20 years. And I've been a big fan, and honestly, he's only disappointed me once. Well, let's find out if it's happened again. Now, with Yoga Hosers, I was hoping that it would live up to what Kevin Smith has been saying about this movie, that it's kind of a throwback to Saturday morning cartoons. You know, it's kind of a toned down Kevin Smith. This is his second PG-13 movie, and I think his first one since Jersey Girl, which a movie I did like from 2004. Kevin Smith's known for making R-rated movies with lots of language and great dialogue and awesome characters and a wonderful View Askew universe. And I'm looking forward to the future of Kevin Smith, and I'm glad that he's kind of come back in sort of a weird way with movies like Red State and Tusk. I like this new Kevin Smith, but it looks like with Yoga Hosers, he's kind of going back to his roots and bringing his family along for the ride. Now, the movie focuses more on the young girls that work at the convenience store that we kind of get to know a little bit in Tusk. Those girls, of course, are played by Lily Rose Depp, the very daughter of Johnny Depp, and Harley Quinn Smith, the very daughter of Kevin Smith. They're Colleen's, they're best friends. I think they're best friends in real life. They live in Canada. They kind of helped in the events of the last film. Guy Lapointe, played by Johnny Depp, who was a big surprise in Tusk, returns to help them in this new adventure together as they find out that their community has a weird connection with Nazi Germany. And Ralph Garman plays a man who has concocted these weird creations that include Nazis and Brotsworth. Bratzies. And I think the Bratzies were all played by Kevin Smith. Some of the effects, especially the makeup and practical effects, are done by the same people who did Tusk, and it does show. And then there's lots of CGI effects that look quite terrible, but maybe that's intentional. For someone who loves Kevin Smith and has only been disappointed by one film, Cop Out, and absolutely loved Tusk, how do I feel about Yoga Hosers? Do I hate it? Or do I love it? Well, what I would say is I kind of enjoyed it. Liked it a little bit. Some things I didn't. Other things I thought were pretty genius. But I'm kind of right down the middle, but a little bit more. So, the things I didn't like. I didn't like the pacing of this movie. I didn't know if I liked the story. I don't feel like we really got to know these characters. Yeah, they're one-dimensional, annoying girls, and I think they're meant to be that way, and they're not that annoying that you hate them. They're just annoying that you're like, yeah, they are your typical young teenage girl that just focusing on celebrities and taking pictures with their phone and working at a meaningless job just to make some money so they can buy more data on their phone to take more pictures and talk about celebrities. So they were okay. Just the introduction to them was all right, and the story of how we find out what's happened in this community is just okay, and it's kind of simple, and the characters are not that interesting. I actually, well, I want to get into let's get into the dislikes first. I didn't like the CGI, but I think That was probably on purpose. I think all that CGI was pretty bad on purpose and pretty cheap on purpose, because when it came to the practical effects, it was much better. The movie's not very long, and at the same time, it feels very long, and it feels like a lot of things are not developed and very uninspired and not that interesting when it comes to events in this movie. But then when weird things start to happen that feel eventful, even though they feel kind of meaningless and stupid and silly, they're very fun to look at and watch. So a lot of the things that I didn't like about the film, I've kind of maybe forgotten, because some of the things that I did like were very entertaining and like watchable and sometimes funny. I like the way Kevin Smith and these Bratzies and how they react and all that stuff. That was quite funny. Their interaction with each other. I liked Ralph Garman, who plays this creator, and he does some impressions in the movie that added to the film. I like this creation of this like big monster that the Bratzies get into and move around. That looked really cool. A great practical effect that was on set. You could definitely see that it wasn't a CGI monster. So I liked some of that. I liked some of the music choices when it came not to the songs, but to some of the score in this movie. It looked well made when it came to how the movie was shot and handled, but I kind of wish when it came to these big events where the girls are fighting the Bratzies or fighting this monster because they're really into yoga, so they're using their yoga skills to fight, I almost wish those moments were around just a little bit longer and were shot in a way a little bit better, like an action sequence, like with lots of camera angles, not so much close-ups, and maybe them, suddenly flying like a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of experience. I don't know. I mean, I know it's probably a low-budget movie, a few sets, a few locations. I loved Johnny Depp in this movie, that he was in the movie a lot. I like the fact that his mole, every scene he's in this movie, his mole's constantly moving around. You don't see it move around, but then, you see his face again, and the moles are somewhere else on his face. I thought that was pretty funny. Justin Long is okay in the movie. There's some other characters that were from Tusk. I should say the characters, but actors and actresses that were in Tusk that had a little scene here, like Haley Joel Osment and Genesis Rodriguez, but they really didn't get a chance to do much. I feel like the real stars of this movie were Ralph Garman and Johnny Depp. The rest of the cast is quite forgettable. They're kind of forgettable. There's no real development to them. As characters, you can't really root for them. They just kind of say the same thing over and over again. They say about, a boot. I would like to know how many times a boot is said in this film. So I wasn't expecting Tusk at all. Not at all. I was expecting to at least see something silly, over the top, and entertaining, and I would say that happened every once in a while. I would not recommend this movie to everyone. If you're a Kevin Smith fan, you may be more forgiving and you'll like it. If you're not, I think you'll really hate this film and feel that it is pointless and silly. But I think that is the point of this movie. Make something stupid, silly, over the top. Either you grab onto it or you don't. There's a lot of things that I grabbed onto, others that I didn't. I don't know if I'll ever watch this movie again, but I am looking forward to the next one. I hope the next one feels more like a horror comedy. It's called Moose Jaws, people, and that's pretty simple. You got to have a clear idea of what Moose Jaws is going to be about, people, even if you don't even know what Moose Jaws is going to be about. But as for Yoga Hosers, I think this is somewhat enjoyable, but something that I can't imagine I'll think about in the next few minutes after I'm done talking about it. It's a weird, absurd film that I'm fine that it exists. Did it need to exist? No. But I would like to see Kevin Smith as a director, because I believe that he is a great writer. Maybe not the greatest director, but he has proven that he can make some great films in the past few years of his career. I don't know. I would like to see something more inspired from this really great storyteller, because I think he's one of the best. This is not one of his better films, but that's okay. And for that, I am going to give Yoga Hosers, I am going to give it 2.5 stars out of 4. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share this video. And also, please check out these amazing movie websites. And if you enjoyed this review, please click here to subscribe to my channel, and also please check out all my recent reviews right here on YouTube. Have a great day, live film, find peace, happiness, and harmony in anything and everything you do, and I'll talk to you at my next movie review.